In this session, let's understand another allocation method, which is called as distribute by trend. Let's look at the report first. We've got region and country in the row dimension. We've got quarter in columns, and we've got a measure coming from DAX, 2024 shipping cost actuals. Let's slide the visualizations pane inside, and we don't have a grand total at the column level. So let's click on totals and bring the column grand total on the left side. Now we can create a data input measure, but this time instead of copying any series which is existing as a native measure, let's create an empty measure. Let's call it 2025 shipping cost plan. Now let's give a top line, or let's say a high level number here. 11 million is fine. Since this series was created without copying any existing series, it straight away distributed the values equally. We can now use the distribute by weights option. And now let's hide the actual measure. Now we will focus on this data input measure to create a plan of shipping cost for the year 2025. So this time, let's assume that we want to have a trend which has to be spread on an increasing or a decreasing factor by the time scale. Since we are calling the word trend again and again, it means that it is necessary to have time scale, either a time dimension, a time hierarchy, or any scale of the time dimension. That way we can use the trend option of distribution. So I'm going to click the distribute icon, and then you have got distribute to columns with trend. You can use the lever. I'll click on input column value, and I'll just say 4% and apply. So quarter over quarter, a trend of 4% has been used to distribute the value. 11 million as a total value hasn't changed. Now we will look at the distribute by trend at row level. So for that, let's click on quick formula, and I'm going to click on the contribution to parent, and I'm going to click on 2025 shipping cost plan, and I'll say create. Now this measure is only to see the values that we are going to distribute at row level by trend. So first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select quarter one, and I will simply say distribute it equally. The moment I do it, you see that the values of the children hierarchy, which is by country, has been equally distributed. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on again the grand total, and I'm going to say distribute to rows with trend, and this time I'm going to simply put 2%. What it should do is it should create, since it is going to be an interval scale, it is not going to identify zero, and it will create a distribution with a difference of 1%, which is exactly the half of this particular trend. Now you would see that there is a 1% delta between these two numbers in all the countries and regions. Now what I would do is I'm going to increase this trend by 4%. Let's say I'm going to directly do it at 4%. Now you should have a difference between the country distribution by 2%. Approximately 2% is the distribution. See you in the next session.